Hey guys, this is Kevin with Great Line Overland, and today we're going to take you through our meter beam and show you how to work all the little gizmos and gadgets, because you know there's always questions about how you use this stuff. Okay, so we're going to take you through all of that, and we're going to show you how to work all this stuff. And we're also, stay tuned to the very end, because at the end we're going to give you a few tips for camping out in the desert that are key. We do a lot of camping in the desert, and there's some things that are just very important. Okay, so stay tuned for that. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. That's what keeps this content coming. We love you guys, and here we are. Hey guys, we're going to show you how to hook it up here. Normally, when we store our beam, we actually take this part right here off. Because we have actually had the other side get stolen. So we don't, these things are not cheap, you know. They're a couple $100 for the whole setup. It was 140 just to replace the one on the actual Jeep itself. So it's not something you really want to lose. So, you know. All right, so this has a grease fitting right here, and we want to grease it about, I'm going to grease it about once a month or something, and I'll show y'all. It's just got a little grease fitting right here. You just take your little gun here, put it on it, bam, give it a couple pumps, bam, bam, it's done. Pull the pump off, you're good, okay? Nothing to it, easy peasy. All right, and then whenever you're hooking up the hitch, we use a, because we like I said, we've had it stolen before, so we use a locking hitch. So to do this, I'm just going to give you a little bit of a close-up here. It goes in here, look, there's a little thing down there, and as it turns, it kind of gives you a little bit of thing there. So it just goes in there, snaps in place, you hear the click, there it is, it's locked in place. So we're going to put that in our hitch so that we don't have to worry about, we keep the honest people honest, you know. This is not going to really keep anybody who is really determined to take it off from taking it off, but it's going to keep the honest people honest. So we're going to come down here. This is going to go through here like so, just like that, and then you come to the other side and you're going to put it on. There it is, that click, and it's in place. You want to make sure it's in place by giving it a good pull to make sure that you're actually got it in place, okay? All right, so now we are going to bring the beam up here to it. It's really easy because this all swivels, so you just get it close, you know? You really don't have to get it spot on like you do with the old style hitches. Because it's a fully articulating hitch, you just get it close and you can work it in, okay? So let's do that. So we're just going to make sure we got it high enough, and then we're going to swing it in. It's no big deal. We actually don't have a 7-pin, so we use a connector here to actually hook it up. So this just plugs into your factory 4-pin that comes on a Jeep. It comes with a factory 4-pin that plugs in, and then it converts it here. We don't have trailer brakes with that, but we don't have a brake controller, so it's not like it would actually benefit us to have the 7-pin that much, other than not having to have the connector. But we do plan to have trailer brakes added, so that'll be definitely in the upcoming videos, but we're still trying to figure out which system we want to use. I'm leaning towards the red arc. All right, so we're high enough. We're going to go over the top of it, and that's what we want to do, okay? So you kick the chocks out. All right. Like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. And let her roll in there, and then let her down. And she'll slide right into that groove right there. And she's resting. All right, now we're going to take the red pin. This is very important not to lose these, because you cannot buy this red pin outside of buying the whole trailer portion of it. And like I said, 140 $140 something, I think is what it was. So just give it a little shake and then she goes. All right. There we are. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. All right, now then we're gonna hook up the brake lights, because it's not the brakes. And here we go. There we are. And we wrap it so that we don't have any slack in it, because we don't want it to fall and get messed up on the road. All right. We've got the way this is set up. They said you don't have to cross it, so we don't worry about crossing it. You know, coming up, I always cross the chains and everything, make sure they weren't going anywhere. But because of this little bad boy right here, I think they say you don't have to. And this is your emergency brake for your trailer. Okay, so if it comes, be sure to hook this up, because if it comes off of here, whenever it comes off, it's going to pull this. This is going to pull this little bad boy back here, and that's going to lock down your trailer brakes so that your trailer will actually come to a stop instead of continue rolling. Okay, so that's a very important safety aspect to the Bean, because it does have trailer brakes. It will slow itself down. All right, so we got to be sure to do that. All right, after you get all that hooked up, you want to go ahead and relieve this. And this is where you want to take the wheel off. After you do this, you want to take the wheel off and put the little base stand on, because whenever you actually take it out, you're not going to use the wheel, because the wheel will make it roll around. It will give it the ability to roll around. It probably wouldn't actually roll around, but you don't want it to have the possibility. So we're going to take it off, and we're going to use just like a base plate to go on it, okay? So we'll take that off and store it here in just a second. And just so y'all know, the towing capacity of the JK Unlimited is 3,500 pounds. We are sporting when you buy the meaner Bean, you're sporting 3,500 pound axles, so you're definitely going to be within your GVRW. And it's dry, runs around 2,000 pounds, 1,900 to 2,000 pounds. So it's definitely towable with a Jeep or most SUVs. It will have a little bit of a struggle going up the hills, the bigger hills and stuff, but it will definitely maintain it. Okay. All right, guys. So this is the base that I was talking about. This is the one you want to travel with, and this is the one you want to use at camp, because it will give you a nice sturdy foundation. We do actually, or I don't know if I've told Ashley, but I do actually plan on adding stabilizer jacks to all four corners, so that we can actually level the Bean up a little easier and actually be a little sturdier on the trail. But as for right now, this is what we got, and this is what it comes with. So there we go. You want to make sure that you put it in the highest setting so that you eliminate any possibility of scrubbing on anything on the trail or hitting anything. At least have it you know, the highest possible setting there, so you know it's not going to do any damage. You never know. Just a good thing to think about. All right, and then we keep this little bag here that we put everything in. That will not go in there because it's too heavy and I don't want to rip the bag, but this is just a sleeping bag. We put all our little knickknacks in here that go with getting the trailer set up, and you know, it's probably a good idea for everybody to do that. Have something that they put things in, just to kind of, so it's a one-stop shop. You just grab it out and go. So just so y'all know, whenever y'all come in here to use the Bean, our personal preference is that we put these chocks up here, and we have the actual little edit that out. And we have this for the stabilizers jacks sitting up there in an easy accessible location. Okay, so it's really whatever y'all like, but that's the way we do it. We always want to have everything where we can quickly grab it and go. Okay guys, we're going to show you how to set up the Bean real quick, and it's really pretty easy. We're going to drop this down to its lower setting so you don't have to unwind quite as far. That's one of the little tips that makes it a little bit easier. There's three settings here. So we're going to lower it down to the third setting. Right there. And now we're going to drop it down. And we've already taken the pin out. Didn't figure you needed to see that. Taking the chains off and the plug out. Then we've got a level right here that shows where you're at, and you want to get it you want to get it close to level. The way you park, like maybe you roll it up on some rocks or something to get it as close as you can. We didn't do that the first time. It's probably not the best idea. Those jacks are not the best jacks in the world. They're stabilizer jacks. So while you can level them out a little bit, I wouldn't go putting too much jack on it, you know, and really suspending it too high, and that because it's not really what it's made for. Okay. Don't forget to chalk your wheels before you actually lift it out, or else it can roll on you, okay? You want to make sure that you clear this lip right here before you start trying to pull it out, because it does hold it in place in that lip right there. So now that we've cleared it, we're going to go ahead and pull the Jeep forward so that we can lower it down in order to get this bubble in the center, okay? Okay, so because we're on concrete that's pretty well level side to side, you know, it's not going to need much on this. It doesn't need any actually on the stabilizer side. So we're not going to lift it up. We're just going to lower the stabilizer jacks down to hold it in place so that we don't get any swaying back and forth in the middle of the night. Okay. We're going to take this right here, and there is a place to hook it in right here. On each side, there's one on each side. They adjust independently, and they're really easy. They just slide down like this, and all we're going to do is put a little pressure on them in order to, like I said, keep us from swaying in the night. So just make contact and give it another quarter to a half a turn. Same thing on this side. This is just so you're not sitting on the suspension so much and it's not able to move around with you. So there we go. Now let's go check our bubble again. Okay, so it's pretty close. We're gonna raise the passenger side just a little bit to try to get it perfect. But right there, that's pretty close. You'd sleep really well like that. Okay, so we've got it really good and level. I mean, it's absolutely perfectly level, as you can see in the bubble. It's dead center. That will help you to have a good night's sleep. You definitely want it level front to back. That's one of the most important things, because if you sleep with your head in the wrong position, you can wake up with a headache because the blood rushes to your head and stuff like that. So if you're laying it down like that or something like that, the blood can rush to your head and it causes you to have a headache the next day. Having a level trailer is pretty important to a good night's sleep. So now the stabilizer jacks are down and they are carrying a little bit of a load. It's not overdoing it, but it's going to be enough to where it doesn't sway real bad at night. Next thing we're going to show you is how to set up your awning. All right, guys, so we're going to set up our awning, and I'm going to show you where we store our pull straps in order to keep our awning good and tight. And you need these. These are a must, okay? So the bean actually comes with them, and they're cool because they actually have I think they have the Bean written on them somewhere, but anyway, these come from Bean. I don't think they actually do. No, they're just orange and black. But anyway, these come from Bean, and they come with your Beantrailer. We have this one, and our other one has been loaned out, so we have an orange one to go. So, here's our other one. Doesn't matter which ones you use, these are just the right length. You know, these are probably gonna be a little longer than we need. So, they store in here in the well for us. So that's what you need to know. So the 23-0 awning is really just a snap to set up. There are other things that you can do to make it more stable and stuff. Pull the legs down, anchor it, and those straps are in there, but we never use those. If it's going to be super windy at night, we think it's going to be super windy, we just close it up. And not to mention the fact that it can really take a lot of wind as long as you anchor it down properly from the back, which is what we're going to show you here in just a moment. So what we do is we start by unzipping it and flipping it up like so. All right, there are straps that are holding it in place right here. These things make it super simple whenever you're setting it back, whenever you're putting it back in too, because you just basically yank on them. All right, and then this will fold down and out comes your awning. So I do it one side at a time, unless Ashley is actually helping. They're not setting up something else, and if she is, then it makes it easy for me to just do one at a time. Okay, we hook our loop in for our strap right there. We grab it, we're gonna pull it around like so. We're gonna pull it in right here. All right, we're gonna come back and pull that down tighter here in a minute, but right now that's holding it good. We're gonna go get the other side. All right, now then we're gonna pull these around like so. All right, these have a little extra on them, so these have a little extra, so whoops.
That's exactly how you do it.
That's right, that's how you do it. All right, so here we go. All right, there we go. Hook it in right here on the bike rack. All right, now we're going to come back and we're going to cinch them up. Just give it a good pull. So there's that one. Let's go cinch up the other side. Okay, and now there we go. Okay, the tighter you get it, the better it is as far as being good and stable. Okay. Okay guys, you can leave it like this, but you know, if you want it to be a little bit more sturdy, whoop, that's the way you do it. So let's put that bad boy right back where it goes there. All right, so, and when you put it up into place like this, you find your spot that you want it to where it looks good, and then you just twist. Boom, there it is. Okay, let's see if we can do the other side without dropping it and looking like an idiot. All right, not an idiot this time. Yay! So we drop it down, get it to the height we want, screw it down, and bam, it is now in place. So just so y'all know, there are other fixture points right here, and there are cables and stakes in there to put it into the ground if you need to, but we never do that. We've never found a need for it. This right here is a nice usable space. It actually, we haven't gotten it yet, but it actually, if you look right here, there is a room or a sidewalls that can screw in there or zip in there, I'm sorry, and we plan to get that. And what that would do is that would provide us a nice little changing room, you know, or just a place out of the wind and where we can kind of get it warmed up a little bit, so that in the mornings we have somewhere to go, because in the morning in the desert especially, it's freezing in the winter. Okay, hey guys, little pro tip for you bean owners. These things right here, they come loose pretty regular. I just had to tighten them down again. I'm gonna eventually put some Loctite in there. I'm pretty sure they probably came with Loctite, but it doesn't hold up. So I'm gonna re-Loctite these eventually, but you need to keep these things checked every couple of times I actually have to, this will be like the second or third time that I've actually had to tighten these up. One time it actually came apart on me, and I was in camp and everything went everywhere. It was really a pain in the butt. So just stay on top of that. Keep these hinges right here, keep them tightened down, good and tight. All right, so that's just a little pro tip I got for you. And now we're gonna start taking down the 23-0 awning.
I was about to say, I was like, how did we do the right side first?
It must have just flopped out and we didn't realize it.
So reverse that order facing the awning. You're gonna take off the left side first if you're facing the awning. And then you'll fold that one in, and then you'll fold the right side in, and it'll fold on top of it, so. You ain't done.
And then at this point, it just comes to being careful with your zipper, okay? Because when you're zipping this part right here, it's really easy. It's gonna be really easy to get this hung in it, so you wanna be very careful about that and make sure that you can squish it down good and then zip, okay?
So just step up here, right here, and then you can also step up here if you need another 2 feet.
I don't think you need that much.
And then you can, you know, adjust the awning as is. So whatever you need to do, you're welcome to step on those.
All right, and these are bolted straight through. They can handle, like, I don't know how much weight. I think it's like 300 something pounds. So they're very, very sturdy. That's it though. That's how it works. And then we take our little straps, we put them back in the bottom. Bada boom, bada bing. It's done. You know, it's really not a hard job. It took us like 5 minutes, something like that, to do the whole ordeal. It might not even taken that long. So, all right, there you are. All right, so now we're going to show you how to hook up your stove, for your gas for your stove, and then we're going to show you how to hook up your gas for your heater, which is very important whenever you're out in the desert. Okay, so there's a little pull right here down at the bottom. You pull it, it pulls straight out like this. It's gonna lock out. Okay, see how it locks out? Whenever you go to put it in, there's a little pull inside here, and you pull it and reverse the process. Okay, all right, so from this point you're going to raise up your cook partner just like this. It's going to lock into place again. Those are released by these little levers right here. Okay, all right, from that point you're going to see this and you're going to think that's where you need to do next. No, it ain't. Leave those alone unless you're wanting to put your cook partner up here. All right, so come around here and we'll show you. All right, the way we do it, we put the handle in here, so all you do, pull the handle down. All right, now it's open and it opens right up. Okay, so the gas is going to be plugged into right here from that little spot right there. Little pro tip, always have your bottle facing this way because they're very specific on the lengths of these hoses that they have provided us, and it will not reach if it's turned around. Okay, the hoses are all going to be down here below the sink, and the one that is for, you've got two gas hoses here. This one, which is a single hose, this is for your heater up front where we'll use it in just a second. And the one with the double ends here, that is actually for the stove. Okay, so the cool thing about these is they're not, if you don't do this, but if you did, it was not a big deal. So these are not actually going to put gas out, no matter if that's turned on or not, until you actually screw it into here. So you don't have to worry because these, excuse me, I had a little spider on my glasses. All right, so But even when you screw this in, it's not. All these fittings are pressure fittings, and they're very, very safe. Okay, so let's go ahead and screw this in. We start off by taking this off. All right, stick that in there. It is reverse thread, so you're going to be, if you sit there and you try to screw it in clockwise, you're going to be sitting there all day because it's not ever going to screw in. So it's a counterclockwise rotation. So left hand threads. Get it good and tight. There we are. We're going to bring it around. As I stated, it is a very specific length. You push this in and gently screw this on. If it's not going, just wiggle a little bit like that, and it'll start to go nice and smooth. And once you got it tightened down, we move to the next one. All right, there we are. Now we're going to turn on the gas. Okay. So first thing we also want to do, you see, we want to make sure these are off right there. And we're going to go ahead and turn them on, because once we have them hooked up, if we were to have that open, we've got gas. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and light it for y'all. Okay, so we're going to turn the gas on. Doesn't take much, and there we are, making sure it's lit all the way around. Boom, you've got fire. It doesn't have an igniter, so you need to have this. We keep this in the big tub right here. You know, it's real handy to have one of these. This is also good for starting fires, because this is like a little torch, and it will actually start those fires really well. So that's another tip. Don't leave home without a butane lighter like this that can actually put out a good, nice wind resistant flame that can start your stuff. Because when you're out in the desert, and I say when you're out in the desert because the desert presents more problems for people whenever they're doing this than anything. I'm gonna go ahead and turn that off. The desert presents more problems because, number one, the lack of trees, so there is no blocking from the wind or anything like that, and so you've got to deal with a lot of things like that. And then the extreme temperatures. So in the summertime it's extremely hot, and in the wintertime it's extremely cold. So keep that in mind whenever you're thinking about breakfast too, because you've got to come out here in the cold to make that breakfast. So when you do, you want to make sure that you've got warm clothes, probably some base layers or something like that. If it's wintertime, you definitely want to pack some warmer clothes, so when you're out here, you're actually warm, because otherwise it's going to be miserable. Trust me, I know. But yeah, now we're gonna go ahead and pack this up, and we're gonna move to the gas on the front for the heater. Okay, and the heater is gonna be an area that's giving us some issues, because whenever you go to start your heater after you first took it up, it'll give you a little trouble every now and then. So we're going to show you that. Okay guys, so whenever you're taking this down, you're going to want to turn this off first. All right, and then what I usually like to do is I like to purge the gas from the line. So I'll open them up and I'll just let the gas out, and once it stops, there we go. You don't have to do that because it does self-contain inside these hoses, but I usually do, just for safety's sake. And then once you pull them loose, they're going to store right there under the sink, just like what we did when we pulled them out. And they'll store right up under there with the water hose and everything. Okay, so you fold it over, you latch it on the front. Two little levers right there. Put it down in there. Bam, there it is. Pull the lever inside here. It slides on in there and locks away. There it is. Okay, so now it comes to that second hose, the one that was just a single hose. Real easy. This end goes here. This end is a quick connect, so it makes it super easy. Okay, guys? This one is not reverse thread. It's going to go on the normal way. All right, and there again, if this was open, it's not going to leak. Okay, we're going to close it back because that's just the way I like to do it. But if it's open, it's not going to leak. So you just take it down here and you pull on it like this, okay? And there you are, and it's in place, okay? When you push it on, release, it latches down. Now then, open this. Be sure this is fully open. And now we're gonna go inside and start our heater. All right, guys, so now we're gonna show you how to start your Truma heater if your bean came equipped with that, which ours did. So we're gonna come down here. And there is a control panel right here, and it's showing E right now. All right, so we're gonna, do you see where the little guys on the trailer, the RV symbol right there? You click on that, 63, and hang on a second. Okay. So you have to actually clear the codes before you do it. And so if you didn't turn it off, which I forgot to, it will throw an error code. So whenever you get done, what you need to do is you need to turn it off. All right, so now, because we went to this guy, we went and put it on 76, and it is now trying to kick on. All right, so sometimes it will kick the first time. That's very rare, and it'll actually work. But most of the time it's going to throw you an error code because it doesn't light the pilot right off the bat. And if it does that, all we have to do is clear the error, which it didn't do this time. Sounds like it's maybe. Yes. So it did not do it. So normally, whenever it hasn't been used for a while, it will throw an error code because it will not ignite on the first try. But we have used it, like last week, so it's probably why it didn't do it. So now it is actually going to blow heat out and warm up the trailer. But normally there would be a little exclamation point right here, like what you saw a while ago, and then I would just toggle over to it, and it would actually, I would hit it, and then hit enter again. This is the enter. And when you hit the enter button right there, it'll clear it once you move away from it, and it'll give you the ability to do it. But you always have to clear the error codes before you continue. So remember that. And then you'll just try it again until it works, because sometimes it takes 2 or 3 times. All right? All right, so guys, in order to turn it off, you're going to go and you're going to click on the little thing again, and you're going to run it all the way down to off, and then hit it again, and that should turn it off, and that'll keep it from throwing an error code while you're actually unhooked and not running. Because what happened was we had it unhooked and everything and did not actually turn that off, and so it threw an error code and put it in error, and that's why I had to clear the error code at the very beginning. Okay, so now we're going to show you how to use the fridge here. So this is a Norcold 45 quart fridge. It holds enough for a good long weekend, no problem. I would suggest actually starting it about an hour before you actually want to put stuff in it, because it'll get it good and cold. All right, so to turn it on, all we do is we come over here to the side, and there is a on switch right here. We turn it up. All right, that turns the unit on. Right now it's sitting at 50 degrees. And in order to see what it's set on, you just hit the set button. It tells you it's set on 32 degrees, okay? So you just leave it be right there if you want it at 32. If you don't, when you hit the set button, you'll just adjust it right here, and it'll take it. It can take it down to freezer if you want to do that. Not really something that we do because we use it for a fridge. Also, this section over here doesn't get quite as cold. This is for like vegetables and things like that, so it doesn't get as cold over here. But so keep that in mind. This section right over here does not get as cold as this over here. All right, that's the fridge. So now moving on to the water system. We do not have water in the system right now because we are in the process of fixing to store. We have it ready for storage. We're going to rent it out today, but we are getting it ready for them, so we're cleaning it up and everything. And whenever we store it, it actually does not have water in it. We've learned that that's the best way to do it, is to not have water in your tank when you store it. So basically it comes it's down like this. You just pull it up, right here. This is how you would turn it on right there, but you also have to charge the pump. So like I said, there's no water, so it's not going to stop running, but it charges the pump, and then you can turn the water on, which there's no water going to come out because there's no water in there. Okay, so coming around here, I'm going to show you something also that you have to do in order to get water to come out. So down here, there is a valve. All right, so right now it's in the neutral position, so it will not pull water from the tank. It has to be in the up position in order to pour water from the tank. If it's in the down position, it is actually going to drain water out of here. Like I said, there's no water, so it's not going to drain anything. But if it were in the down position, it would drain the water out. All right, this is the off position, and up, like I said, is so that you can get charged the tank, charged to the, or send water to the sink. Okay, so now we're going to show you how to use the water hose. The water hose here, this is something that I installed, but you can get them on your Bean now. You couldn't when we bought ours, but as we picked it up, they had actually started putting these on there, and I'd already planned on putting one on. And so all you do is open this little lever, or this little flap right here, and this right here goes into this quick connect, just like that. Did you hear that audible click? That's when you know it's in. You charge the pump just like we did a while ago, and then you've got water coming out of the water hose. It's not a great water pressure or anything like that, but it's enough to hose yourself off a little bit if you want to get clean. Okay, in order to fill your Bean with water, this is your fill right here. It's a little dusty right there because of the fact we were just in the desert, but you would fill it right here, put this on, secure it in place, and then this is our drain. All right, so whenever your water is going through here, if you don't have that open, it's just gonna fill up the sink and it's gonna stop. So a lot of people put hoses on this and run it outside the camp. If you want to do that, you can do that. We typically don't, because we do a lot of camping in the desert, and the desert is just gonna soak it up. So we just let it go. All right, so there is your the rest of the water system. Also, just a note, not in the water system, but this is your 12-volt plug. I mean, I'm sorry, not 12 volt, your 110 volt plug. So we typically have a generator with us, and we would run an extension cord from the generator and plug it in right here. That gives us full use of all of our outlets as well, because if you don't have the 110 volt plug active, you cannot use your 110 volt power that's out here. Only thing that you can use is your 12 volt power. It does have a 1000 watt 100 amp hour lithium battery that will sustain you for a good little while. But in all honesty, if you're going to be out there all weekend running the heater, doing things like that, it'd be a good idea to either have another battery backup, such as a solar generator or something like that, or just go ahead and take your little gas generator to charge it up and keep everything running. And that brings us to the next thing, which is our max fan, which is what's going to draw more power from the battery than anything on here, the max fan. And if you're running the max fan all night, you better be ready to have a dead battery by morning. So we are looking at our max air fan now, which this thing moves some serious air. Here's the remote, real simple to operate. All you do is there is a power button right here. You hit the power button. Well, let's do that again. You have to actually point it at the fan. You don't point at the fan, you know, these little things right here, it's the old style remote, it will not actually do anything. You'll hear a beep if you actually made it work. All right, right now we have it turned on 20% and it's air out. All right, so you hit the little up button and it turns it all the way up to 100, and also you can swap it to air in. Air out is really good if you want to open the windows and get a nice, some nice outside air coming in. If you want it to blow on you, which you know is an option as well, there's this reverse button right here, and you just hit the reverse, and it will slow itself down, and it will reverse itself, and now you have air coming in from the max air fan. All right. I'll be honest with you, if you do air out, you open the windows, open the doors and have the screens open and everything, you're gonna get a lot more airflow with air out than you do with air in. Air in, it does blow a good bit of air on you, but in order to get good ventilation, you know, really you just need to open up everything and let the air out. It also has a thermostat on here so that you can program for the temperatures. So if you want it to cut off when it reaches a certain temperature at night, say you want it at 67, which is what we do, you would do this until you hit the 67. Right now it's at 67. I hit down, it goes to 66. Right there, up. These two buttons control that. Okay. So let's see here. And that, when you wanted to do that, you do the auto button right here in the middle, and it turns to auto. And it's going to bring the temperature, it's going to work itself. It's going to turn it off whenever the temperature reaches that certain amount, okay? So to turn it off, what we're going to do is we're going to hit the power button again. There's an audible click, beep, and it turns itself off, all right? Now remember what I said though, this fan sucks more energy than anything in here, okay? The refrigerator, it doesn't use that much. But when it comes to that fan is going to drain that battery. So limit the amount of time that you have to use that fan. Get it cool in there, let it turn off, and be done with it, okay? Unless you have a generator, and if you have a generator, then you're all good, okay? There are cup holders on both sides. There are light switches here. This will control how much lighting that you actually want. Right now it's at 100%. Right. Now it's at 100%. You push the down button, it'll actually bring that all the way down to just barely on. Okay? We leave it at 100% and then we can adjust whenever we want to. These also have little lights right here. Those are push lights. They're for reading and things like that. It adds a little extra light to your area. And then you've also got the plug-ins right here for your USB outlets. They are on both sides. Ours on this side went out, so we're actually got one of those on order. And then you've got your little storing tray right here. We have a lighter in here just as a backup. And then you got little key rings right here that you can hang your keys on. So what we typically do is we put our cell phones charging here and then lay them in here, and that gets them charged overnight. And that has it on both sides. It has carbon monoxide alarm and a fire alarm. And then you've also got your fire extinguisher sitting up there. The shades are real simple. All you do is grab them and push up. They're on little guide wires here, and then you just push them like that. And then the two levers right here to open the windows. There we are. And down. Okay. We've got the drawers here. That's where we typically leave our stuff for like changing in the morning and stuff like that. And then you got the pass-through cabinets, and all the other stuff up here is just for whatever you need it for. Okay, so that's the inside, and I do believe that that will wrap up our how to work everything aspect of this. So now we're going to go into just a few tips. Hey guys, so now comes the tip section of our video, and we're just going to give you a few tips for camping in the desert. First one is we've experienced some issues with our awning and high wind, so we would not recommend you actually leaving that awning out during the night, because the last thing you want to do is get woke up to an awning slinging around and beating on your trailer, possibly causing damage. So if I were you, when you're going to be in the desert, I would go ahead and fold it up and just strap it up. Okay, that's one of the big things that I think is a major thing. Also, you need to think about how cold it is in the mornings. We talked about that a while ago, but I just want to mention it again. How cold it is in the mornings and whenever you're cooking and stuff like that. And the fact that you do not really, I mean, yes, it has heat in here, but you don't want to spend all your time in there. The whole purpose of getting a teardrop is you want to be outside more. So make sure to remember that whenever you're packing your clothes, and make sure that you have some good base layers and things like that, and layer your clothes so that you can take them off as you need to. Those are things that I've noticed, and Ashley has as well, is that make sure that you've got enough clothing. All right, and another thing, it's gonna be tight getting dressed in there. So if you pack like a small tent, it can do double duty, okay? So a small tent would be really good for if you wanted to have a portable toilet, which would be another thing that I would say you need to take with you. A portable toilet, you could put that in there. And also you can have a small changing room, because it really is hard to get dressed inside that teardrop, all right? So for me, bigger is better on the small portable little toilet room, because we have a smaller one right now, and it's actually a struggle for both of us, and it's not really good for changing as well. So we're gonna upgrade our size on that and get a little bit bigger one. But that right there, I said, will definitely help you. And actually setting that up outside of your door on one side at night would be a good idea as well, to make sure that you can like open the door and get into it, so that you don't have to get into the outside and get dressed, be exposed while you're not clothed properly. So I would recommend, kind of leaving it butted up to your door right there, so with the door open, so you can just kind of swing it off in there and then just kind of climb in there. All right, guys, those are just a couple of things that I wanted to mention so that y'all could have a nice, pleasant experience. And also always make sure your gas is full, and make sure your battery is fully charged before you leave, because those things are key as well. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel, okay? We really want to keep this content coming, and that's what keeps us going, okay? So see you next time.